Okay, just another minute. Thank you for your patience. Are you on, Barry? Guess not. I think that's who we're waiting
Hey, Rob, I'm here.
for. Okay, please just
I'm sorry, I was
self-unmute.
muted. I'm muted, man. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I've been here.
Oh,
I'm
no. All right. All right. We're going to go
Thank
ahead
you.
and get started.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, so we're going to be going through a lot of stuff today in a very short amount of time. I am going to take questions, but if you can please hold the questions to after I explain the program, that would be great. It would be a great help. So today we're going to be discussing the various aspects of utility assistance, including the types of assistance available in the major programs. Pretty much going to follow how to set up and refer by using the category search. Not going to focus so much on how to find each program, as you probably already know how to find the programs, but we are going to focus on the programs themselves to help you all obtain a better understanding of each program, at least the major ones here. That way you can better convey the programs to the callers and hopefully send me less transmittals. Kind of important here, do not try to memorize the database with these programs, as it is organic and the details of the programs can change at any moment. So what may be true today may not be true tomorrow. So please just read all the details and refer and providing the information regarding the programs, and should be good to go. So let's get started here. So the types of assistance we're really going to be discussing today are cash assistance, discounted and or payment plans, and get help avoiding utility disconnection. Cash assistance for utility bills, those are programs that pay all or a portion of the utility bill for those at risk of being shut off or have already been shut off. Discounted and or payment plans are programs that provide services at below normal rates or offer a levelized payment plan. Get help avoiding utility disconnection are programs that help people avoid a disconnection or possibly restore service. For 211, this is primarily related to those with medical conditions, except for the winter reconnection order, which anybody can use. So looking at refer on how to find this, Matt Finley came up with a category search. You can use the taxonomy terms, but the category might be easier for you all. So you just click on the category, go down, you'll see utility assistance at the bottom, and there you see them. Cash assistance for utility bills, discounts and or payment plans, get help avoiding utility disconnection. You'll also notice there's a couple other things down there which are pretty self-explanatory. Get help negotiating utility bill, or get local or state utility information or file a complaint. If you ever have questions about those, you know to contact your supervisor or somebody in research, and hopefully we can help you out. So moving forward here, we're going to first start with the cash assistance for utility bills. As you can see, these are the taxonomies used: electric service payment assistance, gas service payment assistance, heating fuel payment assistance, and water service payment assistance. Just a reminder, heating fuel is like propane, bottled gas, coal, wood, stuff like that. All pretty self-explanatory. And refer, You can see them all listed right here. So some of the programs within the cash assistance programs are HEAP, Home Energy Assistance Program, Ohio Fuel Fund, American Electric Power, AEP, has a program called Neighbor to Neighbor. Then there's programs that are accessed through the Salvation Army. And then and we'll talk about those programs here in a moment, all those. But then there's also, PRC, Prevention, Retention, and Contingency. You should already be pretty familiar with PRC, so I'm not going to spend much time with this. Just a reminder, each county's PRC may be slightly different, and some counties may not even offer help through PRC at all. In any case, make sure you read the description and who qualifies to make sure this would work for your caller. And then you will also notice when you pull up information for your caller, there might be local help. In some communities or even counties, there may be additional help that is not statewide or a national program. Example would be programs through like St. Vincent de Paul Society, as well as Salvation Army and Catholic Charities. There are too many to list and to talk about individually, but you all know the drill. If it comes up for caller's zip code, read everything carefully to ensure the program will work for the caller, and just then save it and refer. And just a reminder, make sure there's often additional help for special populations, so make sure you use those targets for veterans and for those with cancer and so on. Okay, so let's move on to explaining. Let's get right into HEAP. So HEAP is the Home Energy Assistance Program. It's a federally funded program administered by the Ohio Development Services Agency's Office on Community Assistance. It's basically designed to help eligible low-income Ohioans meet the high cost of home heating, or during the summer, help with the electric bills. Now, please note, with HEAP, HEAP is a totally separate program than PIP and the Winter Reconnection Order. Often callers confuse these programs and will call PIP HEAP and vice versa, and they'll do the same thing with HEAP and Winter Reconnection Order. So, part of the reason why we're having all this, so you guys can have a better understanding, so when a caller is confused, you can recognize it hopefully quickly and, get them on the right track. So with emergency HEAP, it's better known, or is technically known as winter crisis or summer crisis. And we'll discuss that in a moment here. I'm going to jump to LI HEAP, low income HEAP, real quick, which makes a one-time per heating season payment to assist with winter heating bills for those who qualify. Applications are accepted from August 1st through May 31st, and they start processing those October 1st. So they're already processing them. This is not emergency help. It does take time. I would assume around 2 months, but it is important to offer this to your callers, as it may not be immediate help, but it could help them in the middle of winter from being disconnected. And if you're offering emergency HEAP, you should definitely be offering or referring them to LI HEAP as well, because they would qualify for both, and you can use both. Real quick, any questions on low-income HEAP? Okay, excellent. So let's move to winter crisis. Most people, when you get calls, won't call it winter crisis. They will call it HEAP. So just be aware, but it is officially known as winter crisis. So winter crisis this year, and from every year I've ever been here, runs from November 1st through March 31st and can be used once and can be used to pay for the Winter Reconnection Order, which I will discuss that program a little bit later. Hopefully this is still true. I don't have it up in the system yet. We're still trying to verify all the information for this year, but it should be, they should provide $175 for PUCO-related companies, and then $550 for municipal companies, utilities, and $750 for those who use bulk fuel. Municipal utilities, that $550 would be like Cleveland Public Power. And I did find out, by the way, that if they have, let's say, Cleveland Public Power and then Dominion East Ohio Gas, which is a public utility or regulated, they will basically take the $550, use that, and then take the $175 off the $550 to pay Dominion. So that's how that works. Now, just a reminder, any PUCO regulated company customer who has a confirmed utility assistance appointment with Community Action will have their disconnection suspended for at least 5 days past the date of their appointment. And this becomes important, that when you're explaining this program to people, that they show up. You have to, emphasize that they bring all their required documents, because what can happen is if they have to make a second appointment, their utility can get shut off. The utility companies will only offer this suspension of disconnection one time. So does everybody understand this? Is there any questions on Winter Heap right now? Okay.
Rob, all that you're saying there is they can only get that disconnection suspended once.
Correct.
Okay, easy enough.
Yeah, that's why it's important that they show up with all their documents, because if they have to go in for a second appointment, chances are it's going to run past that original date that he set up, the Community Action Agency set up to suspend.
All right, thank you for that.
All right. If you guys do run into any questions, throughout this season with Winter Crisis, send a transmittal or come talk to me if I'm here, or send an email, and I will do my best to answer it as quick as possible. All right. So that was Winter Crisis, and then we all probably know about Summer Crisis, as we just went through it not too long ago. I'm not really going to discuss this, as it's 10 months away, and we know, there could be a chance that it changes for next year, but it always does run from July 1st through August 1st, and it helps, with the electric bill. And qualifying for this program is much harder. So if you have any questions for Summer Heap, we will be visiting that probably next summer once again. I will let you know if there's any changes or anything. So we'll move on to the Ohio Fuel Fund. Now this program helps customers of First Energy utility companies, which are Cleveland Electric Illuminating, Ohio Edison, and Toledo Edison. It helps with their electric bill to maintain service or to assist in establishing service for new electric service applicants who have an unpaid bill from a previous residence. Now this program is supported, or program support is provided through First Energy corporate funds. So please note, funds are not always available, and you probably are already aware of this, as they're not available in Cuyahoga County right now. They're maybe available in some other counties. We'll just have to see if it comes up. Great, it could be a great help. When I talked to COGC here in Cuyahoga County last, they said hopefully by the end of the year they will get funding for this again, which indicates to me that maybe that's when everybody will hopefully get their funding again. But when it does come up, make sure you provide it to your caller if they qualify. It's a pretty straightforward program. Anybody have any questions about Ohio Fuel Fund by chance? Okay. Great. So we'll move on to AEP. They have a program called Neighbor to Neighbor. And from what I am aware of, kind of works like summer HEAP or summer crisis program, but this is specifically only for AEP customers. Not fully familiar with this program besides what's in Refer, so with this, just kind of, if it does come up, definitely make sure to see if the program is available, because from my knowledge, it runs from July 1st through August 31st. Then there's Columbia Gas Fuel Fund, which is a program of Columbia Gas, and basically it's a program of last resort. It will help customers that probably won't be active until after around December, as customers of Columbia Gas will have to utilize HEAP first. And when this is available, you'll see it come up, and hopefully it will have all the correct details in Refer for it. And you know, if you see anything that doesn't look right, send a transmittal. So with moving right along, this leads us into the Salvation Army programs, or programs that are administered by Salvation Army. Basically, like there's programs called Energy Share and Heat Share, which are programs of the utility companies. However, you access these programs through the Salvation Army. Energy Share is for Dominion East Ohio gas customers, and Heat Share is for Columbia Gas customers. Basically, these are programs, once again, of last resort. Customers or callers are going to have to utilize HEAP, emergency HEAP, first, and typically these programs do not become active until later into the winter season. And sometimes I can tell you from experience the funds can run out quickly as well. So if it's there, share it. If you have any questions, you can ask about it. I won't have much information about it for this year until it's closer to that time. Now, Salvation Army also has a program called Project Reach that, once again, funding comes and goes for that, but it helps with electric for Ohio Edison First Energy companies. It's a little less assistance, but it does provide $200 and can be useful if it's available. And then, of course, with Salvation Army, be aware that a lot of local, they provide a lot of local help in many counties or cities through local funding. So don't be surprised if you see Salvation Army have a program that's only available for that community. So anybody have any questions about any of those programs? All right. You guys are making it easy on me. Thank you. All right. So going to move right along then into the next part here, which is discounts and our payment plans for utilities. Basically, these are the taxonomies used for those type of plans, which is discounted heating fuel, discounted water service, percentage of income utility payment plan, PIP, and then extended payment plans, which is actually utility budget billing. I'll show this to you here in 1 second. Stop. So what's nice is Matt even put with discounts in our payment plans for utilities. You can see that's where PIP lives, right there, nice and easy. So that's all right there. It's pretty, self-explanatory what they do, discounted heating fuel is going to handle, give discounts, on firewood, heating oil, all that kind of fuel right there. So let me get back to but we'll discuss discounted water service real quick here. There's not a whole lot of help with this, but there is the homestead water sewer discount, which is mainly for seniors, basically, or for disabled individuals. For Cuyahoga County, there's the Cleveland Housing Network's affordability program. So there's that. The one thing I can say about this is be aware that some cities have their own programs, the municipal discounts. So several cities do provide discounts on water bills, and if it comes up for Colorado zip code, once again, you know the drill. So let's jump right into one of the bigger programs for us, which is PIP. So PIP is an extended monthly payment program where regulated gas and electric companies accept payments for customers based on a percentage of annual gross household income. So households that heat with gas will pay 6% of income to gas and then 6% of income to electric. Now, households that heat with electric will pay 10% of their income to electric. And then the Community Action Agency or the utility company will inform the client of the PIP plus installment, their payment, what they're going to be paying every month. Then it is important that you explain, if a caller is interested in PIP, it is important that you explain that they have to pay their bills on time so they don't get removed from the program. If they do get dropped from the program, the entire balance of the bill becomes due. That creates a lot of hardship. So customers who pay their monthly PIP plus payment on time, which is considered payment received before next bill is issued, and in full will receive 2 credits. One for giving the rest of that monthly bill, which is called an incentive credit, and then the second for giving 1/24 of the balance they owe prior to enrolling in PIP, the arrearage credit. If the client makes full on-time payments for 24 straight months, all of the arrearages will be eliminated. Now, when they do get kicked off, if they miss payments, like for gas customers, have one billing cycle from their anniversary date to make up any missed payments before being removed from the program. With electric customers may be dropped if they miss 2 consecutive payments. Now, please note, any missed or late payments will result in the loss of that month's credit. So no fees are assessed. However, no fees are assessed for the late payment. So if they miss a payment, that can really mess them up for getting their arrearages eliminated because they have to make payments on time for 24 straight months. Now, if they do get kicked off and they would like to get back on, there are ways to re-enroll for PIP. I can tell you it's not easy, but there are ways. So if they are kicked off due to disconnection of service, what they would need to do, and mind you, it's a little bit different for gas and electric, what they will need to do. So for gas, if they've been removed due to disconnection of service, what they will need to do is make up all missed PIP payments. Then monthly charges for the months they were not on the program will also have to be made, and installments amount for those months when the customer did not have service minus payments made. For electric, any past due installments will have to be made up. Then installments for months they were not on the program, including the time they were disconnected. And with the electric, they then also have to pay a reconnection fee, but then, minus any payments made. Now, for other reasons, maybe they got kicked off for other reasons, kind of pretty much the same thing. For gas, they'll have to pay any missed PIP payments, the monthly charges for the months they were not on the program. Basically, that's saying they have to be current on their bill. And then installments amounts for the months the customer did not have service, minus payments already made. For the electric, make up any missed PIP payments, plus monthly charges for those months that the service was on, minus payments already made. Now, there is another reason why people get kicked off. They call it non-compliance drop. Basically what that is a person purposely provide wrong income information or household information. That occurs, the customer will be banned from PIP for 24 months and may have to pay back the accrued and accruing arrearage credits received. And that's the same for gas and electric. I do know this is some of the most confusing part of PIP. So does anybody have any questions about that?
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this or not.
Yeah.
In your experience, just how forgiving is PIP of people who maybe mistakenly are non-compliant, like train their income, they forgot about that guy that they live in the room upstairs and he pays a portion of the rent. If they don't count that as income, how harsh is it going to be?
They will first try to work with the person and get it set up right. This just really becomes an issue when a person's purposely misinforming. Okay. And it was explained yesterday that they do have ways of finding this out. And they have been pushing this pretty hard, I guess. But, yeah, so, I mean, if this occurs, there's, they're not in the business, they're in the business of helping people. So, if it's on accident, they're going to find a way to work with the person and,
okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it too much unless the person fully did it on purpose.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
No problem. And we don't get too many calls from people who have voluntarily left PIP and want to get back on, but there are ways that they can do it. And it does change depending on how long they've been off of PIP. If they've been off PIP for less than 12 months and want to re-enroll, basically what they'll have to do is pay all their PIP plus installments for the time that they were not on PIP, minus any payments that they made during that time period. And that's pretty much for gas and electric. It does get a little different if they are past 12 months and have outstanding arrearages. Basically, if they just past 12 months and they have outstanding arrearages, they'll be required to pay any missed PIP installments for the number of months they were not on the program, minus payments made during that period. Basically, how they look at all this when they're leaving or whatever, if let's say they had were on PIP for 3 months, and PIP is basically a 12-month contract, they have to make up 9 months of payments, their PIP payments, to get back on. It's pretty much that simple. So anybody happen to have any questions on that? Okay. Excellent.
I had a quick question, actually.
Yeah.
So for PIP, I know that like in general, just for like, I mean, this information is like really incredible and very useful that you're giving me, especially the way you've been presenting it. So I really appreciate that, Rob. One of the things that I wanted to know though was just that, like for your regular caller who is not gonna like maybe not want to sit through all this information, who maybe just wanted a kind of a quick place to go to, will like a community action agency kind of go over this more with them, or how much, you know, because I mean, like I always kind of try to balance how much information should I be giving them to the point where it's useful, or to the point where, you know, they might want to just
right. A lot of this information won't. Yeah, a lot of this information may not even be necessarily in refer. This is really to help you have a better understanding, to help your caller. But yeah, the Community Action Agency, our PUCO, you can refer them to PUCO as well. The Public Utilities Commission will be able to answer questions and go into detail with them as well. And as I get further in on this presentation, you'll start to notice something. PIP is helpful for some callers, but it's not the only program out there that's a payment plan. There are other options, and I do recommend that you have your caller contact your utility company first to see what other options are out there in payment plans, rather than just think PIP is the only plan out there. But yeah, to answer your question, basically, yeah, community action agencies, our PUCO, will be able to, if they have questions, you can direct them that way to get much more information and detailed information. Does that help?
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Rob.
Great. Oh, no problem. All right, so moving right along here. Now with PIP, customers do have to re-verify their information every year. So I'm going to just skip a couple slides here because I think this will be the most helpful. Now with re-verification, an individual or family can re-verify their information at any point during the year. In fact, if they go into like a winter crisis EHEAP appointment this winter, most likely they will get re-verified for PIP. But there's basically two dates that people have to be aware of: their anniversary date and their re-verification date. The anniversary date, the most important part of this would be this part that my mouse is kind of over, it's hard to see, but it's the date by which the customer must be current on their installments to continue on the program. So if they, if they missed a month, they have to make that month up to continue on the program. And then the re-verification date is the date by which they have to re-verify by. And now, from my understanding, what will happen is, for re-verification date, is that the company will, like the gas company, will send out a letter saying you have 30 days until your verification date. If they don't re-verify within that, that time frame, by the time that date is up, they'll send another letter 30 days after reminding them that they have to do it. Then after 60 days after that date, they'll be dropped from the program. So technically, they almost have 2 full months to make, to get re-verify if they miss their re-verification date. And the re-verification date is on their bill. it will tell them when they have to re-verify by. So they should know that. I know we get, some callers questioning about that. Does anybody happen to have any questions about re-verification?
I do have a quick one.
Yeah.
Is there a too soon for re-verification? I know it says anytime throughout the year. If someone were to sign up in January, can they re-verify in March, or is that too close to the initial sign-up?
I mean, it wouldn't be, you don't want them going up there constantly to re-verify.
Right.
I mean, the only reason why you should be going that soon is if there's been a change in income or
Okay.
household information. But, if they do it at, like in January or something, that's when, but if they access like Summer HEAP or something like that, Summer Crisis Program, they'll probably end up being re-verified then. It's kind of a rolling process in a sense.
Okay. No, that answers it. It's more, I've had callers who've done that kind of thing through Summer HEAP and weren't sure if they needed to do it again, but it sounds like, no, you're re-verified, you're re-verified.
Yeah, and it should be on their bill.
Okay.
So if they aren't sure, you should be able to, you should just tell them, or let them know that it should be somewhere on their bill. And if they don't see it on their bill, then contact the utility company.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. All right. So there's, other than PIP, there's extended payment plans. So, PUCO regulated gas and electric companies are required to have certain other plans that they have to offer callers. So, that's why I was saying PIP may not be the fit-all for everybody. Some of these plans might be a better fit for them, and I can tell you after yesterday's energy meeting, Ohio or Dominion East Ohio Gas mentioned that they even have more plans than what's listed under PUCO. So I really suggest having your callers call the utility company first to see if one of their payment plans will fit for them. It might just be easier, and we all have heard the horror stories from callers about how much money they owe from PIP. So this could save, might just be a better fit for some people. And this, just to let you know how it's set up in here, it's under utility budget billing, and the only thing that's going to come up is the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, PUCO. And you'll see that it has these plans listed in here, but it won't have all the plans that the utility companies offer themselves. These are just what's required by PUCO. And then it does show you here on how to access that you just contact the appropriate utility company directly for that information. But I think this could be a big help for some callers, and just give them other options. Let them know that there's other options out there for them. So this leads us into getting help avoiding utility connection, which is medical certs, the winter reconnection order. If you're not familiar with medical certs, basically it provides a 30-day delay in utility shutoff when the shutoff would make operation of necessary medical or life support equipment impossible to use. So with this, you'll find help, utility disconnection protection, I believe is what it's under. But you can see with this that there's options through many companies. Okay. So we'll move to the winter reconnection order. This is one of the bigger programs that we deal with, especially this time of year. It starts October 17th and runs through April 14th this year. From what I noticed, it tends to start 2 weeks before the winter crisis heat starts. With this program, there is no income requirement. However, the customer, must sign up for one of the payment plans available to pay any past due balance, which is going to go back to one of these extended payment plans. One of the more popular ones is during the winter time is going to be the 1/3 plan, which is only available from November 1st to April 15th. So with the winter reconnection order, the program reconnects or maintains service during winter heating season if the customer pays $175 plus the reconnection charge that's not to exceed $36. With this, the customer or caller can pay out of their own pocket for this, in which they just contact the utility company directly. If they cannot afford it, they can set up an appointment for the winter crisis, and the winter crisis will pay that $175. Now, note often, you might have callers that have trouble with both their electric and gas during this time of year. So the winter reconnection order can be split between two regulated utility companies. Basically, the split is $87.50. However, if customer goes to Community Action Agency, they utilize a software program called Ocean, which then determines the split. They use a matrix. I'm not all that familiar with that program. But please note, let's take, for instance, somebody has Cleveland Public Power, but they have Dominion Gas. The winter reconnection order cannot be split between those two companies. So they would actually owe $175 to the Cleveland Public Power because they do have their own winter reconnection order. And then they would also then have to pay $175 to the gas company. There is no splitting between those two. I know that for Cleveland Public Power because they were actually in the meeting yesterday, and they did mention that they have that program. Louise said earlier it is active right now in the database and refer, so you would see that in there. For other municipal utilities, electric companies, I'm not sure. You will have to see if it comes up. But with Cleveland Public Power, that is an option. All right. Any questions on winter reconnection order? Because that does start soon.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Somebody else was speaking, I thought. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead if it's cool. All right. Just a quick question, Rob. When you say they're already in refer, I do not do category searches, or I haven't so far. Are they? I'm not showing any of these coming up under our regular, like if I do a gas search, electric search for an individual. Are they in those two right now, to your knowledge, or are they only under the category search? And I should have asked this earlier.
Oh, no, yeah, whatever. Okay, so with the taxonomies, if that's how you're using it, if it shows up that way, it will also show up in the category search. Basically, some programs aren't active right now because we're just not time to activate them. Like, winter crisis isn't active. But yeah, if you use those taxonomies, they will come up that way. But yeah, they'll come up either way.
Okay, like for instance, like if I every day, I'm doing gas search assistance, so I'm hitting it today, and I'm looking for people, and I'm seeing nothing as far as the reconnect order, and nothing as far as heat starting.
So
That's the kind of thing I'm saying. So nothing's coming up except Ratner Wise or PRC, stuff like that. So should I be going under category search at this time?
Okay, so the taxonomy for winter reconnection order is utility disconnection protection.
Gotcha now. Okay, I'm just going under the wrong. I'm just looking at gas payment assistance, expecting it to pop up.
Yeah, this is considered, it's not really considered a payment per se, I guess. This is just to help people get turned back on.
Okay. When it comes to regular HEAP, and I apologize for all this time, same thing, because I'm not even seeing the, for winter HEAP.
Well,
yet.
HEAP isn't going to come up yet because it's not active, but HEAP would actually come up under electric, our gas service assistance, payment assistance.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
Rob, I have a question.
Yeah.
For the Winter Reconnect, for those people that maybe owe a lot, do they have to be able to pay that down with a payment plan first before they can do Winter Reconnect, or does it just automatically help them no matter how much they owe?
Yeah, so, this will get them connected, and then what happens is that's why if they owe a lot, that's why they're going to get put on a payment plan. And then they have to start making those payment plan, payments through that payment plan, or then the whole process of, being disconnected could occur again.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, finally, I've been mentioning PUCO, Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. Bring this up. So, by now, a lot of you are probably familiar with PUCO, what it is, but it is the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio affects every household in Ohio. That's because they regulate providers of all kinds of utility services, including electric and natural gas companies, as well as local and long-distance telephone companies, water and wastewater companies, and to my surprise when I first started, they also handle rail and trucking companies. But PUCO was created to assure Ohioans adequate, safe, and reliable public utility service at a fair price. And most recently, PUCO gained responsibility for facilitating competitive utility choices for Ohio consumers. And sometimes we get, callers or even ourselves wonder, well, what is regulated company and what's a non-regulated utility? The best description and in the simplest terms I could find was regulated companies tend to be larger companies that are for-profit, whereas non-regulated companies tend to be smaller and nonprofits, believe it or not. And in Ohio, private-for-profit natural gas, electric, telephone, and water companies are regulated. Many smaller utilities in Ohio are not private for-profit, PUCO-regulated utilities. Basically, they are actually a public government utility and considered a nonprofit. And that's like your municipal and county utilities like Cleveland Public Power, your rural electric co-ops, and then public water and sewer districts, and then private sellers of propane and heating oil. But that's what PUCO is, and they are the ones who handle utility company complaints as well. So if somebody has a question or want to make a complaint regarding a regulated company, that's who you would send them to. Now that pretty much ends what I have. Any of you guys, now that we've made it through all this, anybody have any questions? I know this was a lot to take in. I can tell you real quick before any questions, you can find this PowerPoint on the InDrive under, it'll be in a folder called Utility Training. So if you want to see this, go over it, or review it or anything, you can go ahead and do that and look at it if you like. So that's where this is housed. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we have some time here. So shoot away. Hopefully I can answer. Wow. No questions.
No, I do have a question. For the PIP program, or when you go back to like the PIP and the extended payment plans, if someone was on PIP and things just didn't go well, what's the process for them being able to do an extended payment plan? Do they kind of have to like pay everything first from PIP and then they can do extended payment? Or like is the extended payment plan not something you can do when you've had a disconnection? How does all of that kind of work together?
Okay, I'm hoping I'm understanding this. So they're not happy with PIP and they want to get off and maybe get on another plan?
Yes, or essentially, I'm thinking more so of like our clients who call, who've done PIP and now they owe $50,000, and you know, obviously they're not going to have the money to be able to pay to get back on PIP. At this point, is an extended payment plan an option, or is this more so something you need to think about before even getting on PIP?
That's you kind of have to think about before you get on PIP to begin with, but that goes back to, you know, in that type of situation, depending on how long they've been off of PIP, because, you know, don't forget that PIP, I'm trying to find it here, when you've been on PIP and you've made those payments, if they can get back on PIP, you know, find a way to get back on PIP, it might be worth it, because if they can make full on-time payments once they're back on for 24 months straight, their arrearages will be eliminated. So if they owe a lot of money, but you can help them, or if they can find a way to get back onto it, this might be a way to actually save them money in the long run, as long as they make those payments on time and not get removed. But there are other options. In those situations, when that occurs, I really have them make an appointment with Community Action, or have them contact the utility companies, see what options are available to them. But when they're owing that much, there's a good possibility that they've been kicked off a PIP, and then, you know, then you have to go through, you know, we discussed on how to re-enroll into PIP. And if they owe that much, their best bet might really be to find a way to re-enroll, so they can get all that arrearage forgiven, as long as they can make those payments on time. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, well, you guys have been great. Thank you for your patience in dealing with all this information. And of course, you know, if you have any questions, think of anything, you can come see me personally or send me an email, whatever works best for you, and I'll do my best to answer your question. And thank you for your time today. Have a good day.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
No problem.